The housing market and debt crisis is so bad in America that some people are living in their cars now. Today, I read an article on ZeroHedge.com written by Sam Bourgi of Credit News titled, "Middle Class Can't Afford Homes in Nearly Half of Top 100 U.S. Metros, Study Finds." The author of this article referenced a new study by Credit News in 2024, which revealed middle-class households could afford to buy an average home in just 52 of the country's 100 largest metros. Now, some of you might say it's always been like this. Some people can afford homes and others can't. Well, you'd be wrong. This study revealed that just 5 years ago, middle-class households could afford a home in 91 of the top 100 metros. Now, if you think this is bad, the study revealed lower middle-class households can only afford a home in 7 of the largest 100 metros. Well, my friends, this is grim news. I hate to hear about lower middle-class and middle-class households being priced out of many housing markets around the United States of America. In my opinion, this shows you that the middle-class dream of home ownership is slowly slipping away before our very eyes. This is not the same America that your parents or grandparents grew up in. Times have really changed, and not for the better, in my opinion. I want to share a couple more specifics from this study with you to show you how bad this is really getting. In 41 out of the 100 metros examined, a gross annual income of $100,000 or more is needed to qualify for an average home. In 13 metros, an average income of more than $155,000 is needed. There was a time here in America when an annual income of $155,000 was a lot of money. Now, that is what is needed to qualify for some average homes. I'm sure some households with 2 large car payments, student loan debt, and some credit card debt wouldn't qualify even if they had a combined income of $155,000. Many people don't understand how that type of debt can really impact how much of a home you can qualify to finance. Everything has gotten so out of whack here in America in the past 4 years. Money printing, artificially low interest rates, mom and pop investors wanting to be house flippers or Airbnb hosts, and Wall Street titans accumulating as many homes as they can get their hands on has all resulted in a big mess. I'm curious to know what you think the solution is. Tell me about it in the comment section below. Now, there is one guy who doesn't think you should buy a home if you want to make money. I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by MoneyWise and written by Chris Clark titled, "Run for Your Life." This expert says if you're buying a home to make money, you might as well rent forever. The author of this article referenced Morgan Housel, who is a partner at the Collaborative Fund and best-selling author who studies the psychology of money. He said, if you believe home ownership lights the path to wealth, you should run for your life. He says don't do it. He said nothing in need of constant repair that also requires a half-dozen commissioned middlemen will yield superior investing results. He provided an example of a $350,000 home in the U.S., which could easily top $800,000 in upfront and total out-of-pocket costs once you factor in a 20% down payment, higher mortgage rates, property taxes, and annual maintenance. Well, my friends, here are my thoughts. If someone can time the market right and buy low and then sell high when the market improves, and they can get away with very little maintenance, it's certainly possible to make a good deal of money on a primary residence, and then capitalize on the tax advantage of not having to pay capital gains on the first $250,000 of profits for a single person or $500,000 for a married couple filing jointly. Of course, you'd have to live in that property for 2 out of the last 5 years up to the closing date. To me, that's pretty amazing to avoid having to pay the government on that level of capital gains. On the flip side of the coin, if you don't time the market right and you buy at the top and then you need to sell when the market softens in order to move for a new job, you could lose money. That's happened to countless people in the past. I remember the days when people had to bring money to closing to get out of their properties. We haven't heard about that in a long time. But That was very common after the 2008 Great Financial Crisis. If you really want to grow true wealth, I believe you can do that more effectively with rental properties. Tenants are paying your mortgages, your property taxes, your insurance, your maintenance, your management costs, and if you structure the deals right, you still have positive cash flow left over at the end of the day. You can still avoid paying taxes on the gains by doing a 1031 exchange when you are ready to sell the properties and buy additional properties. There are some pretty amazing tax advantages to real estate as an investment. I wish the person referenced in this article would have elaborated about all of this instead of scaring some people away from real estate. With rental real estate, there are a lot of risks. If you can't get the properties rented, you might not be able to cover all of the costs with your income. If you get bad tenants, your properties could sustain damage. Some new corporate giant could build new rentals in your area and create a lot of competition for you, which could force you to lower your rents and throw a wrench into your business model. There are risks with all types of investments. Sometimes people think real estate is a get-rich-quick scheme. You can get rich, or you could lose everything. I know some people who actually lost everything. I also know some people who have more money than they can possibly spend. They started small and built real estate empires. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. There are some people who aren't in a position to buy a property or even rent one. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance, put out by MoneyWise, and written by Visesh Razinghani, titled, "Houston Man with $30,000 of debt struggles with homelessness despite steady job. The Ramsey Show hosts react." The author of this article cited HUD data, which revealed the unhoused population jumped 12% last year, which is the highest level since 2007. And there were an estimated 653,104 people struggling to find shelter in 2023. If you went to college, think about how many people attend that entire college. Some colleges are like small cities. However large the enrollment is at the college that you attended, it is nowhere near the size of 653,104 people. That really puts this staggering figure into perspective for you. Getting back to the article, the author referenced a man who earns $18 an hour and makes about $32,000 per year. He owes $14,000 in credit card debt and has about $16,000 in vehicle debt. He said that about half of his paycheck goes to debt payments, leaving very little money to pay rent or buy a home. He's been living in his car and showering at the gym where he has a membership. He doesn't want to live with family because it causes emotional distress. He was encouraged to seek additional employment or overtime. Here are my thoughts. I am sure he is paying a very high level of interest on that credit card debt. I'm sure it could be in the low to mid 20% range. If I were in his situation, I'd look for balance transfer deals with other credit card companies where I might be able to take advantage of 0% interest for a short period of time. If for some reason that didn't work, I would find out how much my car is worth. If I had equity in it, I would refinance the vehicle and then use the cash that I pulled out to pay down some of the credit card debt. The interest rate on the vehicle loan would be far less than what credit card companies are charging. I'd also find out what type of personal loans banks are offering and apply for one of those. I'd do whatever I could to get rid of the credit card debt with high interest. I'd then focus my attention on working more at my primary job if overtime was offered. And I'd look for side hustles, mowing yards, washing windows, mowing yards, or painting homes. I'd look for opportunities to make cash, even if the jobs were not fun. There are a lot of people these days who don't want to do anything themselves. They want to pay people to do everything, and some companies don't want to do small jobs. There are opportunities out there if you look for them. My heart goes out to this man who is living in his car. I hope he is able to improve his personal financial situation in the near future so that he can have a better quality of life. He really doesn't owe that much money. I'm sure he can tackle this debt in short order if he is strategic about it. I'm sure he is not alone. many Americans are resorting to credit cards and buy now, pay later loans to cover the cost for things that they need to survive. Many haven't seen their wages keep pace with inflation, and using debt is easier than getting a second job or finding ways to live further beneath their means. This is reality here in America in the year 2024. I don't see it improving anytime soon, but what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.